Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. Go to audibletrial.com/Rushmore. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
How do I edit out all this?
Sorry. Beep, beep. Good mid-afternoon and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name is Jeff and I'm joined, as always, by my good friends Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
Richard and Michael, for 2 seasons of this podcast, have debated, bickered, and debated about the top 4 most ubiquitous things of any given topic. And this episode is a little bit different in that in this episode, we are going to discuss the Mount Rushmore of Mount Rushmore podcast season 2's Mount Rushmores. Did that make sense?
Not really, but let's just get to it.
What does that mean, Michael?
You can't type it out to calculator if that's what you're asking me to do.
Boobs?
Upside down.
We're talking about boobs?
Shell oil. Boobless. That's the one I typed. So we get to reminisce for 2 seasons.
We're kind of looking back. You know, it's the end of 2017. We're looking back at the 52 episodes that we did.
Yeah.
You know, hey,
Look, if you missed some episodes, listen to this one. We're going to remind you of some of our favorites. Go back and listen to them over the break.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't actually a break, but if there was, just go back and listen.
Okay.
I just like we did last year. I just think this is a good time to look back and see what we talked about, and maybe look forward to next season. And these are just kind of fun little bottle episodes where, honestly, guys, it's the end of the year. I don't want to try so hard. I just grabbed 4 at random and just threw them on there. But this is a nice way for us to kind of be like, oh yeah, that was funny. Oh yeah, that was good. Oh yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully you have your favorite episodes too. But I don't know. It's just a fun. It's one of those funs.
It's one of those funs.
It's a funs.
All right. So let's start the slideshow. Why don't we start with Michael?
Oh, very nice. Episode 47.
Oh, yes. I remember it like it was
yesterday.
Jackets.
Oh, kick ass.
One of Jeff's picks. And I have this on my list for 2 reasons. One, it was just, I love like horses from season 1. I love a short word title.
Yeah.
That can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And this was an episode that literally was taken from 2 very different points of view. I had kind of approached things with a very pop culturally minded point of view. My picks were Michael Jackson's Beat It jacket, the bride's motorcycle jacket from Kill Bill Volume 1, Fonzie's leather jacket from Happy Days, and also the members only burgundy jacket. And Richard's choices were leather, jean, Letterman, starter. And I just loved that this was a topic that usually we're kind of, we joke a lot about how if we ever have an episode where we pick the 4 same things, we're just done.
Yeah.
We don't need to do the podcast anymore. But this was one that was so...
Well, we have one more episode after that.
That's right. That's
Pasta
and if we ever have an episode that you enjoy, the listener, done. Boom.
It was that we could approach it from 2 very different mindsets and come up with it was a great conversation and a great topic. And the second thing was that Jeff did his best impression on the show to date. And this is when you impersonated Michael Jackson and his father.
Oh, yes. I'm going to forget this.
Asking him to take his jacket because it's cold out, and Michael Jackson refusing.
I believe it went something like this.
Joseph Jackson.
Joseph Jacket.
He should be Michael Jacket because
He should be
so
Michael
good.
Exactly.
Michael, leaving the house? Yeah. You wearing a jacket? No, I don't like jackets. Always wear a jacket. Okay.
Jermaine's wearing
It just speaks to Jeff's your improv skills, and just it was so perfectly done and so stupid. And I just loved this episode.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where I looked at it, and when I saw it was on the schedule and went, oh boy, we may be in real trouble here. And to your point, I remember the horses one being the one last season that was just remember you before the episode going, why did you put this on here? I don't know what we're going to talk about. This is going to be...
Yeah.
And then it was a great episode.
It was great.
And this one was great too. Sometimes we are very specific in our topics.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are super broad. And I think the ones like this that are very broad, that kind of let us... I think, Jeff, you are fascinated with how our minds individually work.
Yeah.
This is the best therapy for us, definitely.
It really is. And I think this is another one where you can kind of see like where Michael went really super specific with like pop culture and people who are wearing it. Mine was just like denim.
Yeah.
That's a type of jacket.
Yeah. Often it's big or it's micro or macro. Usually you guys pick one thing, or is it about society, or is it about the individual, or whatever? Was this an episode where I don't recall, but one of the fun parts of the last 2 seasons has been hearing tales of young Richard, and it might be your adventure.
Tales of ribaldry
from
young Richard.
The gird your loins, folks, because you're going to hear. And at that point, I don't remember if these jackets, like if there was a talk about you having a leather jacket or having a denim jacket in college, or as a sports writer, you had your sports writer jacket, and your tie askew.
No, I had my leather jacket when I was covering high school football games.
Yeah,
I had my badass leather jacket because I was a punk rock high school stringer working for the Orange County Red. What? No, never quite worked out.
Never quite worked out. All right, Richard, what's your first choice?
All right, so our first choice for me is episode 87, which is the Halloween episode.
Also on my list.
Oh wow,
my favorite episode, perhaps, of the year.
It was
full stop.
Fantastic. We've had a lot of great guests on the show in this last year.
That was one of the reasons why I put it on.
Yeah.
Was because we had a few. Sorry, I've got a mouthful of cheese and crackers.
Makes sense for a podcast is when you're talking and then what you want to do is stick cheese and then crackers in there to make sure the 2 things that make a paste the quickest.
I'm just going to chug this gallon of milk, and we'll see what happens in a few minutes. No, we had guests on last year, and the guests we had a lot of fun with our guests that we had on last year. It felt like this year is the year that we figured out how to really integrate the guests properly.
Yeah.
We had really good guests. We had
in studio guests in your freaking spare bedroom.
Yes.
and like Skype guests. So it was nice to be able to bring people in from afar.
And by the way, Jeff, good job on making the technology end of this work.
Oh my God, yeah.
This has been these episodes we tend to sort of like open the kimono, open the curtain a little bit, and see the inner workings of what's going on behind the Wizard of Oz here. And Jeff is the one who's kind of in charge of all the technical setup. It's it's his spare bedroom. He's kind of got all the the cords and the mics and everything works. And he's also the one who's in charge of whenever we have a guest who's not here to get him hooked up on Skype. And I was certain I remember last year we had a few issues trying to get people calling in.
Yeah.
And this year we figured it out, and it sounded good.
Last year,
all year,
our in-studio mics sounded like long-distance call-in at best.
Right, and our long-distance call-in mic sounded like we were calling from like Jupiter or something.
We had Paul Lurie, who called in to do the time travel episode.
Yeah.
Casey Corbin, who helped us out as a judge for the Canadians. Episode. Sa Dow, who competed for the kickball episodes, and
Chris Carey.
In person. Chris was here. Chapin Haslett was here in person.
Chapin this year or last year?
This year, doing TV catchphrases.
Yeah, so we had some of our favorite friends of ours. Also,
my sibling.
Your sibling.
Sam.
We'll get to that one in a little bit.
Okay.
And on top of the fact that this was a chance, it's kind of for us to talk about the guests that we had and how much I think they bring something different to the table. Because, look, I love you guys. I can kind of get sick of hearing you guys. I'm sure you guys get sick of hearing me. It's nice to have someone else kind of come in with a different viewpoint, especially now we're getting people. I would argue Paul and Ryan are among two of our, and Chris Carey too, some of our biggest supporters.
Yeah.
So they were able to come in and understand the format and really just like hit the ground running with it. There was no like, well, let's coach you through this and here's kind of what we do. It's just like, nope, let's just go. And they were on it.
Oh, in particular, I thought the Halloween I agree with you guys that the Halloween episode was fun, just due to the rapport that was accomplished due to the technical stuff. Kind of went the walls, the barriers kind of disappeared a little bit, and felt like we actually had a conversation with that dude. So.
I remember with Paul, there's a little bit of like a feedback or like delay, and also his drunk wife kept popping on.
Yeah, the Halloween episode was easy to edit in terms of like the connection with Ryan. Like we're not professional anything here, and when
God knows
when the things like that work and they work seamlessly, it just saves so much time and effort, and you're just like, wow, how is this? Yeah, how did this work so well this time? And
magic.
Yeah,
I think also location. I have built our studio next to the cemetery, so Halloween was
Ghosts
just natural.
were perfect for us.
Yeah.
And
spirits came in, helped out.
And beside the guests,
produced for us.
And besides the general guest things, it helped that Ryan knows his shit in terms of Halloween music.
We talked about this in the Surf Songs episode, where they were just like trying shit out, and it's just like, I guess we're singing about monsters now.
Yeah,
sure. Let's try that.
Yeah, well, it makes as much sense as.
I wanted to chime in about this because there's, in the 50s and 60s, there were so many novelty hits that charted on the radio, made it to number one. But there were also so many specifically Halloween themed novelty songs. I think the Monster Mash, I don't know if it was the first one, but it certainly was the one that was the most enduring of all of them, the one that hit the biggest at the time. And I doubt I'm stealing anybody's thunder by mentioning a couple of other songs like John Zachary, also known as Zachary, the old Zachy.
Whoa, hold on. Don't,
whoa.
Hold your roll. Don't step too far.
I mean, I don't know that you could have picked a professional expert who would have known more about Halloween music crap than Ryan.
Great.
And then we got to talk about the Monster Mash.
Hey, best song about Christmas.
Yes. Wait, what?
Wait. You're still bitter about the Die Hard thing from last?
No. Hey, if Die Hard is a Christmas movie, then the Monster Mash is a Christmas song.
Well, we don't know when the Monster Mash takes place.
Took place in Wakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, Christmas.
Could have been Christmas. Yep. Could have been New Year's. Could have been Halloween. We don't know.
Okay, so Richard, what's your second?
Okay, our second one is, I think, the most frequently referenced one that we did this year in terms of callbacks. And this would be the conspiracy theories.
Oh, okay.
And very specifically, and I think we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, and I know it's something that we keep going back to. The fact that I am now slowly becoming more convinced that Stevie Wonder is not blind. It started out as a joke. Like, it started out as, it'll be funny if I pretend that I think Stevie Wonder is not blind.
Mm-hmm. Look how far down the rabbit hole Richard has gone.
And once I started getting down the dang rabbit hole, it went from, well, of course this is stupid, to, well, yeah, this is stupid. I mean, I could see where there's a couple of things that are odd, to, well, that's kind of interesting. To, now we're talking about, composers who are pretending to be deaf, and it's like, well, if he can get away with being deaf, why couldn't Stevie Wonder get away with pretending to be blind?
Richard's next thought was Stevie Wonder the guy that flew the planes into the World Trade Center? Why did they crash?
There's some supporting evidence. For one
Look how well he plays that piano.
Yeah, I can't play piano with my eyes closed. I've tried it, guys. It's really hard.
Look, he performed LASIK on somebody.
There's one of the biggest proof points is he was performing at the Kennedy Center Honors for Paul McCartney. It's the concert they have in front of the president. And at the very end, I think they're doing Hey Jude, and everyone's standing up for the na-na-na-nas. And I think Paul McCartney hits a mic stand and it starts to fall. And Stevie Wonder catches it. Bruh.
Well, I've seen Daredevil.
My neighbor, who is roughly the size of Bigfoot, just walked by the window and kind of scared the shit out of me. Oh my god!
Is that a conspiracy theory right there? Jeff Hopkins lives next to Bigfoot.
You were just kind of blowing my mind.
He did a turn over his shoulder the way that Bigfoot did too, and just gave us like a little.
I enjoyed this episode in general because it was a bit of a window into our various psyches in terms of what we believe and don't believe in terms of conspiracy theories. If you look, I'm not happy with the fact that I'm now starting to kind of believe that Stevie Wonder may not be blind. I'm not happy about this. Yeah. I can recognize how bullshit crazy it sounds.
Yeah.
But it's just there now. Now it's stuck in my head. And now every time I see Stevie Wonder, I think, is he looking at something through those glasses?
Yeah.
Or is he not? Now I'm stuck in this I'm going to be, Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with my string and all my crazy ass.
Looking for Pepe.
I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm cracking up here a little bit.
You're good.
This is what I feel like.
You're good.
I feel like I'm cracking up a little bit.
Let me say this: in a world where controversy sells and improves careers, Stevie Wonder could have a sex tape. Stevie Wonder could have an affair or something like that. Or the biggest
Thanks. Stevie Wonder's like, I can.
Yes. Or Stevie Wonder could reveal the biggest bomb in the world that he had actually cited, and that all of this. Let's say he's already done the victory lap on his career.
Right.
I don't think it could I think it could only improve his recognition to come out and say, I can see, I suffer from this disease of almost like Munchausen syndrome or something
right.
like that, where I just want the attention due to the physically ill or something.
And everyone go that's a good prank.
That's a good prank.
Be like a very Andy Kaufman-esque sort of
the
pull,
longest
by the way.
con.
Greatest con ever. So listeners, I apologize that I may have started off being a little passionate about this as a joke. I can assure you now, if you're someone who is on the Stevie Wonder can see train, I am fully on board and leading this. I'm the conductor leading this. I can see too, by the way, guys. So I know where we're steering this thing.
He has a Facebook group that is currently feuding with the flat earthers. So just look for those.
Hey,
those
look,
guys trading barbs.
If you can't see, you can't tell if it's flat or not.
That's right.
You have to have sight to be able to know this.
Richard has exclaimed that some umpires are blind. That's Stevie Wonder
can actually see. I think this was an episode. Did we talk about the James Comey letter before all the bullshit really started to happen, or is it right around the same time that like he got fired and all of that stuff?
Let's see, episode 51.
Was recorded end of January.
So no, this happened. No, this was
months before, right?
This was recorded on the 29th, which is a week after Trump took office. So Comey was right in the middle of fighting him off, fighting off Trump's advances.
And then he was dismissed in May. This is
Yeah.
another example of us being prescient
We're-
and starting to talk about something that is going to happen in the future or relevant to something that will happen in the near future. Or killing somebody off.
That's one of the weird things that has happened this year is we've realized there are topics or people that we've talked about, and then 6 months later they die.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gomer Pyle.
Yeah.
Or sometimes not even 6 months later. Sometimes in the week gap between when we record something and
Jim
then
Neighbors
edit it
was
and
one
get
that
it up.
we didn't, we didn't mean sorry, Jim Neighbors.
Sorry, yeah. So we are at our midpoint here, and we want to invite you guys to have one on us. A nice glass of sherry and a snifter, and warm it with your hand, circle it around. And while you do, have something else on us, and that is a free audiobook download from Audible. Why? Because Audible is offering a trial, 30-day trial, to give you the opportunity to check out their service. With Audible, you can get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial like the one that I had last year. Oh, it's the worst month of my life. Go to audibletrial.com/Rushmore. Over 180,000 titles to choose from. You might choose Mount Rushmore, the history and legacy of America's most unique monument. Finally, the real Mount Rushmore for all those people who came to this podcast to try to get some actual information about a national monument. That's edited by Charles River Editors, which is probably some kind of book company or something, but it's posted as the author. You can
that's the last name. Charles River Editors.
Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/Rushmore. One more again, that's audibletrial.com/Rushmore for your free audiobook. There's a lot of titles of our own podcast that we're referring to. The best way to understand what we're talking about when we look back in the last 2 years is to go to the past episodes. You can find those always there for free on Stitcher, on iTunes. You can go download, and you can also review to let us know what you think the Mount Rushmore of the past Mount Rushmores is and are. So we'd appreciate even if you would post your Mount Rushmore of Mount Rushmores on our Facebook page or Twitter or Instagram, because we'd love to know what episodes you listened to and enjoyed. But it's not about you right now. It's about Michael and Richard as they look back at the past 2 years and tell us what they've enjoyed. So, Michael.
My next choice is episode 41, the Mount Rushmore of pop culture that depicts a ridiculously naive and dated fear of Soviet Russia.
Otherwise known as one of our best titles.
Yeah.
Jeff's pick, it was actually the choice of a title that made Twitter change how many characters.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't fit all of them in, and they're just like, for this one podcast,
Yeah.
let's double the space. So thank you, everyone.
Wow,
who
we
has
did
to
it.
scroll through just nonsense now.
Yeah.
I loved the title when I first read it, and it is so specific, but the topic itself kind of got to go into a bunch of different places,
Yeah.
specifically to Russia.
Oh, yeah.
But if it was
Comics
just the Mount Rushmore of Russia, that's kind of boring.
Very mean,
Yeah.
sort of like in the space race where they didn't care if 80 of them, astronauts, cosmonauts died. As long as they got somebody up there first, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's like they will use any means necessary, but we'll still prevail because of our rugged American exceptionalism. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's two things. One, it's funny how the roles obviously change within the movie, because by the end of the movie, all of the Russian premier and the entire crowd is suddenly on Rocky's side because has so much spirit and he won't give up. But then Drago also changes.
Yeah, he tells the handler to fuck off, basically.
Yeah, and he's like, I fight for me. I'm not fighting for you. I fight because I want to win.
Yeah.
And so he, who's the evil one, takes on that persona of like the individual rather than someone that's fighting for the state.
Uh-huh.
But then the other thing I wanted to say real quick was, it's funny to see commercials now, and you see American athletes using technology hooked up to these breathing machines running on treadmills with all of the fancy technology. It's funny to see how that is something that is so welcome now.
Is this Dorito technology? Because I saw that commercial.
That's what I run on.
Can we make him cool ranchier than he was before?
The $6 million chips.
Sure, Tom Brady can throw a football. But what if he was cool ranchier?
But just the
But
specificity
now
of it,
Yeah.
and the ridiculousness of the title was just, it made me so happy to read that and to be able to to discuss it. And I think it was the episode that made me really wish I made a pick. Like, I'm always usually really happy with the things that I've chosen.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I didn't choose Tetris
and
try to shoehorn that in as a pick, like
Right.
after the fact,
Yeah.
I was really mad at myself, being
Yeah.
like, God, that would have.
I believe that made it into our image for that episode.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that would have really done it. That would have.
For me, this is somewhat like the Human Genome Project. When we go try to identify the DNA of culture and those things that don't have a symbol or meme or catalog number on them, those things in our lives that recur, that are compelling, that tempt our imagination. And that's been the fun aspect of this podcast. You find one of those things that make you kind of squiggle and say, why? Yeah, let's talk about that.
I think it's so easy. And I think one of the reasons why Richard and I thought of this was that it's so easy to do a sports topic and to do something so banal and just be like, oh, who's on your Mount Rushmore of basketball players?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, you got the four, you're basically trying to identify the four best players. But this podcast and these topics have just forced us to kind of stretch our brains and think of things that we've like, I've never thought of this before.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, how can I be clever? And how can I really try to drill down into what this other person is thinking? Really?
Yeah.
Like, I like the moments where it's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
That made you think this thought?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then usually sometimes it comes out in the podcast, but other times it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes Jeff always asks us, oh, like, why did you think of this topic if it's one of ours?
20% of them are just like,
I
drunk.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, it
So I was
popped in my
watching
head.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, exactly.
I love also when you guys say something really awkward that reveals like you have a boner for the bunny girl from Space Jam or something that's like,
Or Dave Foley in drag.
yeah, Dave Foley in drag, or I just
Don't knock Lola.
Don't knock Dave Foley in drag.
Defoliant drag. Okay, so Richard. Manfredi.
All right, so my next one is episode 70, which was the As Seen on TV products.
Oh, awesome.
I'm glad you brought this up.
This was one of mine that was, I think, the favorite one that I came up with this season in terms of a topic concept. It's something I know I wanted to do since the first season, and I'm happy we were able to get around to it. I was very happy to hear about the abgymnic. This is specifically what made me think about this. Michael's desperate attempt to get abs in college, if I remember correctly.
That's right, 2000.
And
Probably called the Ab 2000 to take.
What was her name? Was there a girl in particular you wanted abs for?
No. I was in a relationship at the time.
Oh, okay.
But like it was one of those.
Michael's
Michael's
sad attempt to get like washboard abs.
It was my donuts moment, or I was eating a bunch of donuts, specifically a cinnamon roll, which is my go-to donut of choice.
Yes.
Not a donut. That's not a donut.
Oh shit! Are we? A topic is born.
Anyway.
It's not a topic. Help me out, Jeff. It's not a donut.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah,
Agreed.
That's weak.
Regardless, I was eating donuts at the time.
Okay.
I'm really glad you brought this up because this is in my notes. This was the episode that I came home screaming to Emily about your choices.
All right, so my first one is the Sports Illustrated football phone.
Oh, wow. Why don't we move on? Richard, what's your second?
Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you.
Who let the dogs out? I'm not sure.
I got a
That was
question.
the peak of 1996.
Is that Freedom Rock?
Hey, man, is that Freedom Rock? Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Turn it up!
Turn it up, man! So that's my number 2 choice, is the Freedom Rock 3 CD set.
Wow.
Something you cannot buy in stores. Oh, no, sir.
Okay, Richard, what's your third?
So my third one is the Wax Vac. This would be a product that is designed to, again, this is, I think, solving one of those problems most people don't know they have.
Right.
Which is mountains of earwax apparently piling up in your ear every day, leading to deafness and loss of balance. I don't know what.
Listeners, if you have turned this podcast up beyond the 10 knob on your...
You might need this.
You
Yeah.
might need this. Okay, Richard, it's your job to do the last one here.
Okay, so I am maybe flirting with the edges of As Seen on TV. I don't think I am, but it is essentially
This is why I saved it for last.
yeah, any product that you will ever see advertised or sold on the cutlery corner / the knife show.
And I didn't on my.
Was it the football phone one?
It was that 3 out of your 4 choices were not As Seen on TV products.
What?
Because one of your choices was some knives, which was just
No, it's knife show, not some knives
I know,
in general. It's a
that's-
knife show.
that's not.
You see the knife show on TV. It is a TV show.
The As Seen on TV products are ones that are these gimmick things that they try to trick you into, or there's some element of that, but like. The football phone was something that was sold through Sports Illustrated, and it was a commercial on TV.
But you could only get it on if you through the TV offer. You couldn't go to the store to get it, which is the definition of an As Seen on TV thing.
The knives.
You're purchasing a magazine. The phone you get for free.
Well, but that's how they get you.
It was one of those things that I remember leaving and like driving home being like, he just missed the entire point.
Wait, so Freedom Rock? You're not saying that's an As Seen on TV thing?
No.
You could only buy it through. You had to call.
What I believe,
to buy
Richard, is that you know the spirit of the law, but when
Yes.
it displeases you, you adhere to the letter of the law.
No,
Yes,
I actually
these are
think Michael
products
does that more than I do.
These are products that are sold on TV. I wouldn't describe them as seen on TV products. And I think that if you had presented it as a products that you buy on TV versus specifically as seen on TV products.
Oh.
And it's true. I do the same thing where I can be very general or very broad in my interpretation of something.
Right.
This is one where I had something in mind, and then you just said some knives, and from the
I did not say some knives.
Pretty sure you
I
did.
don't believe we can go back and check the record
I-
here. I don't believe that's how that.
we'll wind it back. Blah, 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 blah.
Michael is going
Some
to
knives.
creatively edit this, so I have to say the word "some" in like an episode like
It might be somebody
a
else's
year ago.
It might be somebody else's voice with you saying some knives, and it might be my
Some
voice
knives.
saying some knives. I'll fiddle with the intro, but it was like it was one of those that was. I had a very specific It's almost like the Jackets episode that we talked about,
Right.
where we approached it from two different sides and came together to find
A common ground.
A common ground.
This one we didn't.
This one I felt like I have no idea what he's talking about. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I don't understand the thought process.
Right.
So I'm ecstatic that you put this.
Well,
on.
One of the things, there is like an inherent trust in this show that we're not going to like completely like go off the rails with the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the most part, we do a good job.
Yeah.
There are times where I have had choices that I thought were incredible that I knew were like right on the edge of, or probably even beyond the edge of what is the spirit of the topic. Like this one, I still feel comfortable with this. These are things that you'd see on TV. I'm a little amazed. I'm a little surprised that you got upset. I understand why you're upset. I'm trying to like do a therapy thing. I understand why you're upset.
It's not going to work.
I sympathize why you're upset. I appreciate it. I personally don't agree, but I understand that. But there are ones where I've even looked at it and been like, boy, this if I pick this one, Michael is going to like lose his fucking mind.
Courting controversy.
And then I'm like, you know what? We don't need that. We're not, because the show in general, although there are things we get sort of like worked up about at each other about, like right now, maybe a little bit. Let's take a breath. For the most part, we don't.
Not actually upset. I've moved past upset with this.
Didn't sound.
I've just internalized.
Didn't sound like it. Sounded like you're still working through it.
I built a layer around my heart in stone for this topic. So
we're
fine.
I have that too. That's why I had to have the surgery, Michael.
Oh, good point.
We don't gin up controversy on this show. Like the point of this show is not that we are going to be angry and yell at each other. This is not sports talk radio.
Right.
We're not picking two sides of a topic, even though neither of us believe either side of that topic, and getting theatrically upset at each other for the point of trying to do something entertaining.
Right.
I mean, there are times when there will be a pick that we make that we totally don't agree with, or we think shouldn't count in whatever the thing is. But for the most part, I won't pick something if I think it's going to get you upset because it's not really in the spirit of what it should be or whatever it is, or something that I know that you're going to hate.
Oh, that's just a bad pick then.
You know what? But last thing I'd say about this episode, I got my 2 points. So deal with it, sucker.
Yeah.
Michael.
So my last choice is episode 69.
Nice.
4 albums you listened to as a child and no frontin'.
And also my last choice.
Oh, great. Glad we could end on some common ground.
Involving Jeff's brother, Sam.
Can we agree 69 is the worst position?
It's a lot of work for everybody.
Yeah. Nobody's just enjoying it.
Yeah,
everybody's so close to
it's
the
like
worst.
A union job. Yeah. Everybody's got to work just enough to make it like not pleasant.
Yeah.
I chose this for a couple of reasons. One, just wanted to talk about Chipmunk Punk, and I had to shoehorn it in here somewhere or the other. 2, I thought it was a great. I love the episodes that are very personal.
Yeah.
And kind of reveal something about ourselves. I know, Jeff, you do a good job of acting as, podcast therapist in a sense, when you're picking apart our choices and putting them into different kind of batches and boxes and being like, this obviously means that, whatever.
Yeah.
But these ones are purely personal. There's no like right or wrong, so to speak. They're just like, these are these things that I have experienced and that have made me who I am.
Yeah.
And though I think those are the ones that are the most revealing and the most make me kind of appreciative of you guys as friends, and that it's like, oh, this is how we got here.
Yeah.
And these are the steps that we're taking to get here.
Yeah.
And the third thing was Sam was just a fantastic guest.
He's great. And Judge in the previous one.
Yeah.
Richard, what do you think?
Before you guys do that, I need to check to make sure that my insurance covers this type of therapy. So let me
not anymore.
Call to my HMO and
check that.
Thanks, Trump.
The deductible is going to be your main hurdle there.
This podcast is a pre-existing condition. Go on.
And then Richard, I think that you like seeing people break free of the strictures of a genre that they had even as a Freddie Mercury type has articulated so well.
To break free.
That they want to take things to the next level. That you appreciate that artistic, unshackling. Willingness, the unshackling of a young Gordon Sumner from his. From Stuart Copeland and his traditional jazz, left-hand snare grip. and that there's that theme even with sports potentially also an interesting if we're into the psych world and on the therapist's couch, you obviously have a lot of insight into your mother's taste in men from everything that we've heard. So but that overall you like people who break momentum. And
you can't even front with this guy.
There's no fronting. That's rearing is what's happening. Bad rearing.
Who get away from their musical father, you could say. So these were themes, musical transformation in general, and a desire for education about other genres, other places in the world, as it were, with the South African artist being brought into Paul Simon's.
So, and so, again, lift open the curtain a little bit. A couple of days before the show, Jeff's like, hey, my brother's in town. He's really smart, and he knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get him on the show, do stuff with him?
Yeah.
And it did sound a little bit like, my brother's crashing here. I know, we're supposed to go out for drinks and a dinner, so you mind if my brother just kind of tags along with us? And I will be perfectly, no fronting here.
I'm glad that there's no fronting.
I was kind of like, really? I'll go along with it because I love Jeff and I don't want to cause problems.
Yeah.
This better not suck. And it didn't suck.
Oh, good.
Sam was legitimately great.
It was.
Oh, good.
He was possibly better than me on the show.
There was.
I remember walking away thinking, I may be in trouble here.
There was like a couple. It was like a monkey wrench that was thrown in because I think it was last minute. 2, the topic that was coming up was it was a businessy type topic. It might have been things about
things about business meetings.
It was things about business meetings that we later on recorded, but it was a topic that Richard and I had to team up to take on your brother. And then your brother didn't want to do that topic or something happened, so we had to scrap whatever we were working on. I think there was another episode that we
did 2 episodes with him.
Yeah. But it was one of those where we were going to team up for something for both of them to take on Sam, and then that didn't.
Yeah.
And it was just last minute, but it turned into such a great episode.
Yeah.
Those 2 were so well done, and I don't know.
That's great. I know he'll be happy to hear that.
And I love that your fragile ego came in out of it saying well, he's obviously better than me.
Yeah.
He did such a good job.
So what we're saying is Sam really crushed the egos of most of the show, except for Michael. It's hard to crush his ego.
I'm very happy with myself in general.
Things I learned about from this episode. I also included this because I think this was the start of Simon Cast.
Yeah, talking a lot about Paul Simon.
We really started getting loose with the Paul Simon talk. That's when we learned that one of Michael's first 4 albums was this random crappy Paul Simon album from the early 80s that included a song about allergies called Allergies.
Yeah.
And also that Michael was the kid who got shoehorned in as 60s music kid.
Yeah, I got verbally not beat up, but accosted for not having more progressive music tastes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I do feel like this episode we learned a lot more about our childhoods than we had probably anywhere in the past. It was fascinating just to sort of hear how everyone was tying their music that they started listening to in with the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're saying, if we talked about the podcast as this way to kind of identify the shadowy reaches of culture that hasn't been discussed, but also kind of create this DNA. It's also a way to kind of look at the foundational experiences of our lives that set us on this wayward path that we're on today. But yeah, that is a fun aspect of it, and especially those albums. As a kid, I recall one thing I thought was interesting about that topic was you don't always you don't buy records as a kid. They're purchased for you. And you sometimes inherit this record collection of your parents that is...
Or your siblings.
Their siblings that might have been from an era much older than you might have culled from if you were to go purchase that. So, yeah, that was a cool episode. So, now do I judge this?
I think...
Or do we just wave goodbye, or what do we do?
Is this like a?
You can judge it. You can,
or is it like an exhibition sort of thing? It's like the Pro Bowl.
Last year,
so like the Pro Bowl where it doesn't really count.
Last year, you declared it a no contest, but as the judge, and this is actually something that I'm really surprised at this year. We changed how we scored things from season 1 to season 2. Where you can identify, like last year, it was you chose Richard's choices and he was the winner, or you chose my choices and I was the winner, and da-da-da. This year, you had a lot more power to individually choose.
And I exerted very little of it, yeah.
But one of the aspects of your power, which you never did,
was my usurping to give myself a point.
You never, like that. I think if we're going to psychoanalyze anyone, Richard, we should take Jeff down real quick, who never had the chutzpah to say, my idea for this was better than yours. Yeah. And therefore, like, and you chose.
You never gave yourself a point.
I did that once. I think I did it jokingly. I don't think I ever actually took a point.
As the scorekeeper, you never gave yourself a point up until the 2 episodes where Richard and I gave you points.
Okay.
And I think, Jeff, I think you had really good choices and could have usurped us throughout the course. And hopefully you'll take that on next year.
Okay, yeah.
To really, you're a third spoke in this triangle.
Oh, yeah.
A third spoke?
What?
In this tricycle.
Sure.
You're third.
Angle of a triangle.
We're falling over without you.
Like a 2-legged stool. It just won't, you can't sit on it very well. Here's my New Year's resolution.
Ooh.
I am going to be Old Testament. You guys have been dealing with the New Testament, Judge.
Oh, man.
And you know what? It's going to go Old Testament.
Let's go Old Testament on our asses.
Can we call Sam? Do we have his number?
I think we do. You can Skype him in. We could use... Jeff's already got the Skype set up. We can just cut him out.
But for this episode, since you both chose it, I kind of like the 4 albums you listened to as a kid, no frontin'. So we each get a point for that. Do I assign 4 total points? So you each get a point.
Yes.
For that.
There's 4 things that are on the Rushmore.
Okay. And I like the As Seen on TV. And I thought that was a lot of fun. And, oh shit, I like the Soviet Russia one. So is that 2 and 2?
That's 1 more. We need 1 more.
I need 1 more. And I liked that time where we ate weird food. The candies. Or
that was last season.
That was okay.
I was going to put that down under Jeff's points.
Okay, and
you could do that. You could take yourself a point.
Okay.
What was your favorite episode?
Yeah, what was your favorite episode of this season, Jeff?
That wasn't shitty candies.
That it was actually this season.
I really liked when we talked to the dude about Canada. I thought that was
Casey Corman.
Yeah, I thought that was the first of the really fun guest ones, and
someone we didn't have a relationship with before.
Yeah, that's good
that we're looking to do more of this year. So if you guys in podcast listener land would like to come on, if you feel strongly about something, or if you know someone that you think, hey, this would be a great person for you guys to talk to about a topic, let us know. We'd love to. I think it's something we'd love to do more of in season 3.
Yeah.
Next year, we're starting off with a topic from each of us. The first topic of season 3 is going to be Mount Rushmore of movies I'd show an alien culture to prove were cool. I know that Richard, the first season, you were like, I don't know what to do for this, but I feel
better about it now. I feel like we got our sea legs. Yeah,
you can take this wherever you want.
We got our sea legs now. I feel a little better about it.
One of Richard's choices is lovable drunks. And then one of Jeff's choices is Mount Rushmore of the Rashomon effect, which came out of like a conversation we had in one of the episodes. So we have plenty of
random shit going on.
Yeah, we got plenty of spaces on the
docket.
On the docket for anyone that wants to suggest a topic, that anyone wants to come on and BS with us. It's great.
So just come share the topic in person with us. We can Skype you in. So
we'll fly you down to Burbank.
Yeah.
We'll not fly you down to Burbank. But you can come down to Burbank if you like and hang out in Jeff's bedroom.
We are so close to the Burbank airport.
Yeah.
So to present the trophy for season 2, because we're all wrapped up.
Oh.
Do you have a guest to present it?
We don't.
Can we get Jen in here? Can we get one? Can
Sasquatch is often walking by.
Your neighbor Sasquatch walking around? One of the ghosts from the cemetery?
Jeff came in with 6 points.
Oh, sweet.
Trailing at the very end. Our guests, 15 points.
Good job, guess.
Yeah. Me, unfortunately, finished second with 109.
Again? Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
And Richard with 112 back to back.
Oh, wow. That's close.
Whoa.
That came down to the last episode.
Yeah. Jeff could have things could have swung any which way in the last kind of.
Well, except we shared 2 picks this week, so I guess
know.
you couldn't have.
I thought about that as soon as I started typing them up. I was like, no way am I going to get ahead.
That's a repeat. Is that a repeat?
Yeah, back to back for Richard Manfredi. So congratulations.
Insert the da-da-da-da-dun-dun.
We have the winner's music that we haven't used very much this season.
I am currently doing the Bugs Bunny thing where I have my 2 hands above my head. And doing
It's like the Lollipop Guild in the Wizard of Oz too. They do that.
They do. Well, that's great. I don't.
What are you gonna do with all that cash, Richard?
I am
112 cents.
I am going to. Let's see. You guys want to get a pizza?
Nobody here likes pizza.
Fine. I'm going to give myself a slice. I'll take care of the cash.
This has been the Mount Rushmore podcast. Thank you for sticking with us for 2 whole seasons. I hope you have plans to come back for the 3rd season. As always, I'm Jeff.
I am 2-time defending champion Richard.
I'm just looking for one more.